Hi students, in this video we will be discussing the coordinate system for AutoCAD. Like any other drafting software, AutoCAD in the coordinate system of AutoCAD we have three coordinates, that is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. As you can see on the right hand corner we have the drafting and annotation tab. This is used for 2D drafting, and if you want uh, to draw the 3D modeling, if you want to go to the 3D modeling, then we have to click the 3D basics, uh, and we will get the Z axis also. Here we will not be discussing the 3D basics or 3D modeling because we will be working on 2D. But for your information, we are just showing you the 3D modeling or the 3D coordinate system. Here, this is the cube by which we can rotate the model space in any direction, that is x, y or z axis. So let's go back to the 2D modeling, that is drafting and annotation tab. Okay, some settings. Now if you use the pen command, we will be getting our layout back. Now we'll discuss how to enter the coordinates when we will be drawing a line command. When you select the line command, you can see in the command bar it is asking to specify the first point. To select the coordinates of the first point, we have to enter two values, that is one for x-axis and another for y-axis. Now let us select the 2 points as 0 for x-axis and 0 for y-axis. Now you can see that the line has been drawn from the origin. Now let's input the values of the second uh, point, the coordinates for x-axis and y-axis. Say we'll be giving the values as 10 units for x-axis and 10 units for y-axis. Like this, we have to make the input 10/10, and then you have to press enter and see we have the second point. Now you see we have the line, the first point, that is the origin point of value x axis 0 and y axis 0, whereas the point second point we have the coordinates like 10, 10 for x and y axis respectively. Generally this type of inputs is called the absolute entry, where we start from the origin. But there are also other kind of entries we'll discuss in the next. So let's clear this line. The next entry we can call is the relative coordinate entry. Now let's draw a line from the end point of this line. This end point of the previous line will be our reference value. Now we'll press @ and the coordinates. say 10, we can put any coordinates and that will be relative to this point. This is our origin point. Now when you type 10/10, now you see the line. This line has 10 units in the x-axis and 10 units in the y-axis. But the origin of this line is the end point of the previous line, this point. For this reason, we generally call it relative coordination entry. So now let's draw another geometry, say a square. Now we are about to draw a square of say 5 units. Now the coordinates of this new line, it will be not 10 comma 10, but it will be 10 slash 0. Will not be moving on the y-axis, but we need 10 units on the x-axis. Now you see we have our line created on the x-axis having coordinates of 10 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. Now we need to draw the line on the y-axis for the next side of the square. The coordinates, it should be 0 on the x-axis and 10 on the y-axis, like this. Now you see we have created this vertical line. Now for the next point, we will be moving across the x-axis while the y-axis will be 0. So it will be the third side of the square, and it should be like this. So the coordinates will be -10 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. The coordinates function will be @-10 slash 0. Now we have created this horizontal line moving from this point and has a 10 unit length. Now the three sides of the square is complete, and the last side, either we can join both the points simply, or we can use the coordinate system. So the coordinate system, the coordinate entry for the next point, it is 0 on the x-axis and -10 on the y-axis. That is @0 slash -10, and then press enter to disengage the command. Now you can see we have created a geometry. There is a square using the line command, and we have not used the rectangle tool, but we have used the coordinate system. Now with this we have ended the coordinate entry. There are other types of entries which we will learn now. and regarding this we'll have assignments on the coordinate entry. In the polar entry, we generally have the length, say for line, we have the length of the line and the angle at which the line is to be drawn. Now using this line command, we are going to draw another line using polar coordinates. Say we have a point, this one to start with, and then we have to type the properties like at the rate, the length of the line. We need to input the length of the line, not the coordinates or not the x-axis y-axis things, but just the length of the line, say 15 units. And we also need to give the angle input. Say for example we consider it as 45 degrees, and then press enter and see we have created a line starting from this point and having a length of 15 units with an angle or slope of 45 degrees. Like you see, using the add the rate function, it will start the line from this relative uh, point, but if we don't use the add the rate sign, then it will be calculated from the origin. Just for example, if you just pick a line, another line, and say the coordinates are 0 comma 0, then the line is starting from origin. And now we do not enter at the rate, but we just need to enter the length of the line, that is 15, and the angle, say 45 degrees. Now you see this line is drawn on the previous line so that we cannot see correctly. So let's redraw this line with some other angle like this. Say the inputs will be, the length of the line is 15 and the angle, let uh, let it be 30 degrees. Now this is a line that has been created from the origin point. Now press enter to disengage the command. Now in another case, let us pick a random point. See, this is the corner of the square. We are drawing the line and we do not need to put the add the rate sign. We just need to insert the length of the line. So the length of the line will be 15 and the angle that would be 45. Now see in the command line, just above the command line, the add the rate symbol is automatically taken. So we can consider that the relative function is automatically generated. On some previous versions of AutoCAD, if we had not uh, marked the add the rate sign, then the line would have created from the origin point. But the new versions of AutoCAD, they will automatically pick the point relative to your selection. Thus it will be a great help and much easier to operate the commands. So let's do it again. Uh, just pick any point here. So the length of the line will be 15 and the angle, set the angle as 30 degrees. Press enter and the line will be created. But this is for the polar entry. But if pick the line, we had picked the line command and did it from this point and entered it without at the rate sign, just using the coordinate entry system. Just assume that we need to move 10 units in the x-axis and 10 unit on the y-axis. The command is enter slash enter. See the AutoCAD command line, it has already taken in the called the relative coordinate entries. Now this is very good and will help in our drawings a lot. And that's it about the coordinate and polar entry in AutoCAD system. Hi students, in this video we'll discuss some commands from the annotation palette. So here we can see the annotation palette. First of all, we will be learning how to insert text and how to edit that. See, when you click on the text option, you can see there are two options, the multi-line text and the single line text. Let's put a title for this circle and type in that. First we will do with the single line text. You can see in the command bar the text command has been activated and it is asking for the point of start point of text. Now in the command bar they're asking to mention the height of the text. We consider it as 10 units. Now they're asking for the rotation angle of the text. First of all, we'll try with the horizontal position of the text. Now type circle in the text box. If you want to enter, press enter, you can go to the next line. You can type some random text here, or you can press double enter to disengage the command. If you want to change the size or you want to correct the text, you can just select the text and right click on that and scroll down to the properties. Now in this properties toolbar you can just scroll down on the text properties and here you can change the height of the text. Say for example you can change the text height to 5 and press enter. Then again you can just re-enter, you can just type 20 and press enter to change it again. This is how to edit the size of the text after you have entered. Now let's move this text towards, okay, now it is okay. Now you can just click on the next command, there is dimension command. When you click the drop down list you can see there is a number of options. We have linear command, the aligned, the angular command, the arch length, the radius type, diameter, like that. Let's start with the linear type and see what is do. The linear command will show you the x and y lengths, x axis and y axis lengths of any geometry. So here we can see the dimension, that is 106.53, and for the y-axis it shows the dimension 83.8 units. Now if we want to mark the linear dimensions to an aligned line, see it will give you the x and y dimensions or the lengths of that particular line, but it won't give you the actual length of the line. That is, it will give you only the projection distance or in the x and y axis of that line. So if we want the actual dimensions of this line, we need to move to our next command, aligned dimensions. Now check our next command, that is aligned dimensions, from the tab. Now you can see the actual length of this line in the aligned dimension. It gives 27.91 units. Now let's see if we need to change the dimension styles, that is size of the arrows or the color of the arrows, say, and the placement of the text, the size of the dimension text. For all these, if you want to make the changes, you have to go to the Annotate tab and follow to the Dimension Style Manager. From the Dimension Style Manager, these changes are possible. The default dimension that we use is ISO 25, that is already selected here. Now if you need to modify the style, then you need to click the style and click on modify. Now we have different tabs like lines. From here we can change the color of the lines, the line type, again the line weight, that is the thickness, and again the baseline spacing. This is a default value. We can change to other values, like we can change here for 5. The right hand diagram shows the baseline spacing has been increased. Again, let us change it back to its default value of 3.75. Here we can also make the changes in extension lines, like this. This is the extension line. Here there is also the line types, the line weights, like that, and other options as well. Now our next tab, we have symbols and arrows. Here we can change the first arrow. There are plenty of options like closed field, closed blank, closed, dot, architectural tick, like that. There are plenty of options. Generally, the closed field type is used. Now again we have the arrow size. The default value is 2.5 units. You can change the size to 5 and see the arrow head has been changed. Now again, if we select the arrow size as 10, we can see the arrowhead has again been changed in a larger mode. Now let's put the default value of 2.5 back here. Now again you can see that the arrow size has been decreased. Now we have our next tab, the text tab. Here you can change the text appearance, like text style, text color, fit or fill color, text height. From here you can change the text height to some different values and see the respective changes in the right hand block. We have some other tabs here also, that is fit, the primary units, the alternate units, tolerance, like that. From here you can check the command draw frame around the text. It will draw a frame around the text. Generally we do not want this type of frames. Now if you want to change a particular dimension style, then you can activate this line and click on the properties, and you can just move down in the properties panel and make respective changes in the text height. But remember one thing, from here we can change only the dimension properties of a particular dimension, not of the complete drawing. And if you want to change the dimension properties of in the whole drawing, then you should be going on the dimension style manager as discussed previously. But if you want to choose only or change or edit only one uh, uh, dimension, then you can just activate the tab and click on the properties, and it will be activated. Scroll down and you have the properties to change. Now we can talk about the other dimension styles. We have talked about the linear dimensions, the aligned dimensions. Now we will discuss the angular dimensions. The angular dimension will give you the angle between any two line segments like this. Here you can choose which angular dimension you required, just like this. Now you can choose the arc length dimension style, but first we need to create an arc here. Now you can see uh, we are doing we are applying the fillet command on the square, and thereby we will create an arc. Now see, the fillet is made on the square. Now you can see the dimension has automatically been upgraded to the nearest point. So you can just move the line to its previous position manually. Now we are selecting the arc dimension function, and clicked over the arc. By this way we can mark the arc length, that is, it is coming as 15.71 units. You can see the arc symbol is there. It tells you or helps you to understand that this dimension is the arc length dimension. Next, we can select the radius dimensions. With the help of these dimensions, we can mark the radius of different circles or circular shapes. You can see the radius is marked with R, and the radius of this circle is 35.67 units. Now check the dimension of diameter, the dimension style. You check on just click on the function, and next click on the circle, and it will give you the dimension of the diameter. And the phi is for the whole diameter. You can see the R is for the radius and phi is for the dimension of the sorry the diameter of the circle. Next we have the coordinate dimension, and look here how we mark this type of dimensions. And for specifically the x-axis and y-axis. Now here, with the help of insert table command, we can insert a table in our model space. We have here we have the table style, a preview of the table, the insertion behavior like number of rows, number of columns, the column width, the row width, etc. Now for the cell style, you can change the title, header, or data for the first row, second row, like that, as per your choice. It all depends on how we want to create the table, but this is the default setting with the preview of the table we are going to insert. And after clicking OK, you can insert this table at your point of location. You can see that this almost looks very similar to an Excel worksheet. You can use the pan view to move up and down sideways also for accessing the table, very large tables. Like this, you can edit the tables. Now here you can put anything on the title. You can enter anything as you want, some data, numbers, symbols, etc. When you need to exit the table, you just have to press escape key from your keyboard twice and your table will be created.